it was funny how it kind of interrupted. And then she says, yeah, and then especially around here. And I go, well, what do you mean around here in the office? She goes, well, this office is haunted. And I go, is it now? And I've been going there, I don't know how many years.
Is it now?
And I'm like looking around. I've had my legs up in the air and somebody's seeing my coochie. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
like, who is here, please? Let me
shit.
know. Yeah.
That might have been the doctor. I don't know. Anyway. And then she said that she goes many, many years ago, because they had relocated about 8 or 10 years ago from their previous location that I had also been a patient at, right?
Older buildings or?
Well, the older one was a strip mall.
Okay.
And then this one was an older strip mall as well, without giving the location.
Right, no.
And then she had said that previous to their location where they were, actually how she broke down and said, yeah, there's a spirit of a little boy that haunts their office. And I go, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, quite often, she says, we'll hear things moving up in the front office, like where she was sitting, where all the files are and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. She said, in fact, we were here late one night, me and Dr. So-and-so, and I think she might have mentioned somebody else. Mm-hmm. And then we heard stuff happening in the front office, like the door was closed and locked. And she said, they heard the wheeled chair moving back and forth. It's about 30 feet, moving back and forth like somebody was pushing themselves around like a coaster.
And then go investigate.
And then they both looked at each other like, oh, it's happening again. Oh. So things like that quite often happen. I guess things move in the office. Not files, but things move. They just kind of go with it, right? And then they know who it is. I go, no. And I said, well, they didn't say that they know who it is. And I'm like, well, what could it be? Because where their office was always kind of like retail and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and like I said, they had just moved there 8 or 10 years before. And I said, well, do you know who's doing this?
Right.
And they said, yeah, it's a little boy named so-and-so. Oh. I go, a little boy? Well, how do you know this? And they said, well, actually, she said back in the 70s, and I know this area quite well. She said there was a doctor's office about 4 or 5 units down.
Okay.
And I said, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And she says, and in that doctor's office, there was a little boy that would come in for treatments once a month, and he needed one of those shots.
Okay.
Not an Ephrin shot, but he had some kind of allergy or something. Remember back in the day, you used to have to go in to get certain shots. Not an allergy shot. I can't remember what it's called. She mentioned a certain word, right? Mm-hmm. He used to have to come in and get a shot. So 1 month he comes in to get his regular shot, right? But he had an adverse reaction. And he started to suffocate. Like he started to...
he had like an anaphylactic
shock. Yeah. And then he died before the ambulance actually got to pick him up. So they believe it's this little boy that haunts their office.
It's one of those treatment shots where they try and get you accustomed to... Yeah.
Right. And apparently he succumbed before the ambulance came. And they think they're pretty much sure it's him because he does things like antics like a little boy would do that haunts the office.
Like just be a little shit.
Yeah. So isn't that sad? So that's my 2 stories that I have. So here we're going to leave it off. The next 2 stories we're going to hear from Robyn.
Cool.
And who has been in the healthcare system as a nurse for many, many years.
I'm sure we've heard many more. I'm like fascinated, just like when we were at IKEA and the nurse that actually shared. I was like, wow, it's just so unusual. I mean, you hear a lot of people that have been in hospitals that share things, but not actually people that work there and say, listen, we know that's who it was. And
those people are always a different perspective for the fact being because they're professional, they have to carry a certain pragmatic sensibility about them.
And they have to be like reasoning, on ball and really there to take care of other people and not worry about anything else. Yeah. But when they all go, yeah, that's the little boy that was there. Like, remember that lady when she said, well, yeah, I'm a nurse. I'm like, holy crap, I was blown away by that. Like, that's interesting. And I was actually telling that to my cousin at Christmas time, and she was not really, how can I put it? She was understanding about it, but yet going, wow.
Cynical about it?
Or? Not cynical, but sort of just like that someone shared.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everyone's sort of really quiet in the medical field, right? About
and we're all about the sharing, so come on down.
Yeah, share with us all. We're really awesome to share with. No, but that's really interesting, though. Like, I like that when people that aren't, I guess, phony.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
actually sharing and telling stories about their real practical life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So on the scope, next up we have Robyn telling us some stories, and as well Debbie from Dauphin.
Debbie from Dauphin and Robyn. Yoo-hoo!
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
My sister from another mister. She's got some stories to tell of her time at her care home that she works at.
Very good.
And please enjoy.
Enjoy.
And then now, on all seriousness, well, I mean, not that we're serious and stuff. Like, you've had a lot happen to you in your life. Trust me, I know. I've been there, like, a lot. Still there for you, too. But I just want to clarify, too, because right now you're a health aide, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I know you've been doing that for a lot of years on and off and stuff. Have you seen or felt any really freaky things during your time?
Oh, we have this one room. It's haunted. Like, we know it's haunted.
Okay.
Because the residents are always in there. They always say, well, I seen this lady in my room. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, we know.
Okay.
The last resident is still here. You are paying for 2 people in your room.
It's a twofer.
You sometimes feel like since people walking down the hallway and stuff, like, I won't go to chapel there.
No.
It's creepy.
The chapel's creepy, yeah.
Well, it's not creepy during the day.
No, of course.
But it's creepy at night because you can sense that there's people there. Like, there's spirits there.
So maybe that's where they gravitate to after they've passed, maybe.
The chapel? I don't know.
Maybe they're looking for answers. They don't know they've passed, and that's where they go?
Well, yeah, because it's all seniors, so maybe, they're waiting for the loved ones or something to come and visit. I don't know. Because a lot of them go there. They don't get visitors until they're dying.
Oh, really? Oh, that's sad. Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh. Humans are shitty people. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. They dump their loved ones they don't have time for.
Oh, that breaks my heart. It really does. Because you know that.
Not everyone. I shouldn't say that.
know.
Because we do have family members that come every day and,
I know. But it's still disheartening, like, because, in my position, had that been the way, that would not have been the way for me. You know what I'm saying, right? So.
I always feel like don't visit them. They'll come visit you.
That's wind interference. Sorry, people.
Don't visit them when they're alive. They'll come visit you when they're dead.
Right.
They'll be surprised if they haunt you, sorry.
Yeah. Man, is it windy there, Debbie?
Yeah, well, I'm outside.
I know. And bless your heart for doing that, not in front of the girls, so that's good.
Beautiful.
I know, it's beautiful out today. So, and what else, anything else at the care home that stood out weird, or have you heard, like, do you hear noises at night, or?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Do you hear, like, footsteps or anything like that, or wheelchairs?
Oh, when you get closer to the chapel, you do.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Like, the rooms that are close to the chapel, they're the ones that you sense. You can when you go down the hallway, you can sense there's stuff there.
Like, you just know, right? You just feel it.
Know, yeah. You don't necessarily see them, but you can feel it.
Right. And especially, like, and to explain to our listeners or the people that listen to this show or podcast, all 3 of them, not just joking, Debbie's quite religious. So for her to stay away from the chapel, that's saying something because, like, she believes in the other side, but at the same time, it's just like she's been through it enough that she feels and she knows what she feels and what she senses. Correct? Is that correct?
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a part of your everyday almost.
Right. It is.
Yeah. So, had you ever heard any elderly people just before they pass say any weird things or do any weird things?
No, they always try to say goodbye.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you see that they reach out and they're scared to be alone.
Okay.
That's a big thing. They don't want to be alone.
Right. And do you stay with? Have you stayed with them or?
I have a couple.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always just tell them, they're loved and they're cared for, and that you go ahead and you cross over.
Right.
Like, don't hang on here waiting for someone to come. Mm-hmm. Go find your loved ones that are already there. That's nice. If you're hanging on here, to see them.
You'll be waiting a long time.
Yeah, just go and cross over and go I always tell them, go towards the light.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
I'm not sure if there's a light, but
that's what you hear.
Go towards light. Like, go towards your loved ones.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure your mom or your dad is standing at the end of the bed.
Just to try.
You can always sense there's other people in the room.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, like one lady when she died, I was holding her hand, and you could feel that there was other people there, but her and I were the only 2 in the room.
Right.
And
you think it was somebody there ready to guide her through?
I think so, because I believe there's always a person that comes and takes you.
Right.
And shows you the way. And hopefully they show you the right way, not the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, no kidding, hey? Depends on that's all depends what you've been up to in this life, if you've been good or bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, I know I had read a lot of things, and I'm very curious about this. A lot of times, a lot of people, before they pass, mostly elderly people, they'll say, why is there a cat in here? Who let the cat in? So it's almost like cats are the ambassador to the other side, I find. You know, from what I've read. That's strictly just what
I haven't read that.
No, hey? You let us know if you do, because I'd be very curious to find that out.
Yeah, you know what, next time someone's on the way out, I'll make sure I...
Give us a play-by-play. No.
We have nobody on the way out right now, so
Please
we're
don't.
all right.
Oh, well, that's delightful. That's excellent. All right, well, I'm going to end our segment of our interview. I think if anything else pops in your head, let me know.
Yeah, I will.
And thank you for your time. We've been talking with Debbie from Dauphin, my sister from another mister. And... Now we're on to you because we're doing a couple segments here. If I could just put you on speaker, would that be okay, Robyn? Okay, wonderful. Thanks.
Must speak are you?
There you are. Can you hear us okay?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Very good.
Very well. We're eating and drinking, which is our norm. So
that's excellent.
Saturday.
I'm just drinking coffee.
Oh, well, I started with coffee. Now I'm on to tea.
We'll drink for you. How about that?
Yes, that would be great. So, the reason I was happy to talk to you guys is because, I guess since I was about 12, I was like experiencing strange things, hearing strange things, seeing strange things, but really, this is the first time I saw that there was a group of people in Winnipeg who would believe that I experienced these things.
Totally. We totally get that. And you know what? We've had so many people coming up to us now and telling us just because we are open, like we get it, you know, like, and totally,
all scared
there's
about
no judgment and there, you know what, complete understanding is to, you know, we, again, you know, like we've experienced our own weird little things and enough so to be believers. We're optimistically skeptic, but you know what? Like, anything's possible.
And we're not going to frown on anyone.
No, of course not.
Like,
no.
Yeah, because like even in my own family, people, even people who were there at the time, kind of looked at me funny, wouldn't say anything, but they knew what was happening, type of thing.
Out,
so
sort of like,
that's their coping mechanism, probably, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh, that didn't happen. Oh, did that just? Oh, no, we won't talk about that.
Well,
yeah. So, anyways,
but Sherry has like we haven't done that part of like eventually we're going to get into cryptids like UFOs and all that kind of stuff, right? And she had a UFO experience, and it's the same thing now where there's a couple of them denying it, or
of course. Oh, it's swamp gas. I'm like, are you kidding
my
me?
husband, my husband had one, and I don't think anybody in his family believes it, but he's told me of it often. But so that was part of my. I was excited to share this because actually, you know, when it happens to you, you think, and I've often said this like aloud, why me? Like, you guys, why me? Yeah. Somebody else. Go find someone else, please. Yeah. No. Anyway, so I thought I would give you a little bit of background. I'll start off with a little bit of background about me when I first started nursing
please
school.
do. We'll let you have the floor. We won't interrupt, and we'll just we'll go yes and okay, you know, just so that we we're still here.
Okay.
But sure, I mean, you have the floor. Tell us as much or as little as you want, and then if you're okay with if you're comfortable comfortable with us after, we'll just ask questions or whatever, you know.
Sure, yeah. I as I was telling you, I wrote down a few notes just so I wouldn't forget, and I thought, how the hell would I ever forget? And as I'm doing it, I thought, oh my God, my heart is pounding. I can't believe it. Yeah. After all these many years, that it has
that effect on me, but it does.
It's good to spill it out, though.
Anyway. Yeah. So, like I was telling you, I've had strange experiences since I was 12. But we'll start off, I guess I'm 59 years old. I was
You don't look a day